The Dolor Factor is sponsored by Ladera, a romantic paradise. Lime, value every moment. Illuminous, your transformation begins here.
What does it take to pull oneself from a place of loss, of trauma, of fear, to a place of security, confidence and joy? This is our focus today as we embark with determination on a new season of the Dolor Factor. Hello and welcome to the Dolor Factor. I'm Delia Dolor. This year, the Dolor Factor moves in a new direction based on communications from you, our viewers. Many of you want to look, feel and do better, but feel stuck. Starting today, we will go on a journey of self-discovery. So have your pen and paper or your phone ready for some quick tips and to answer questions I'm going to ask you along the way. I'd like to share with you a clip taken from Facebook that shows a woman who told me over 20 years ago that I should have my own talk show, and here I am. It hasn't been easy, and many times I lost direction. But when you listen to this well-known presenter's words, think about your life. Think about you.
Growing up in Mississippi, my prayer was, for as long as I can remember, God, use me. Use this life. I don't know what the future holds for me, but I know that there is a vision for my life that is greater than my imagination can hold. Use me. What would you have me to do? And that dream, that desire, that prayer brought me somehow to television.
You might never fail on the scale I did, but some failure in life is inevitable. It is impossible to live without failing at something, unless you live so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all, in which case you fail by default.
Each of us must truly be a woman in the world. We need to be as fearless as the women whose stories you have applauded, as committed as the dissidents and activists you have heard from, as audacious as those who start movements for peace when all seems lost.
My guest is life coach Cynthia Alexander, who helped the Dolor Factor team deal with a harrowing experience in Dominica in August 2015, when Tropical Storm Erica devastated the island. The Dolor Factor was on the island at the time and experienced the destruction firsthand, as well as the disappointing response. Anger. I am very much someone who keeps things together, and once it was happening, I felt we were all keeping it together and everything seemed okay. We made a lot of major decisions. You know, Michael's decision that he had to go up that mountain. Bernice was very friendly with the staff, the Dominican staff, and she was like looking after their emotional needs because they had lots of other issues. And I, believe it or not, was very much, I wouldn't say leader of the guests, but I came up with a lot of the suggestions as to what we should do to help ourselves and each other, because there was a lot of conflict going on. So I am angry because I felt that we were very much on our own. We were St. Lucians on our own. But I knew that once we got the news out to my husband, that he would get others to help me. And I think I'm angry because returning to St. Lucia, I'm hearing so many different things where certain people were aware that we were there and they were looking at protocol. Right. And I will not respond to what was said or who said it, because that's not the important thing. I'm angry about that. I feel guilty. Because when I read certain things, like I read a press release that said all the guests of Jungle Bay had been rescued, and we were just one sentence, and I thought, that's all they've said about us? And we went through so much, not just us, but you know, there were children involved. There were Dominican staff involved who were looking after us, knowing that they had lost their family, dead. Some of them, they were still looking for them, right? They were still looking for their family. And all that we were given in press releases was just that, like a sentence here and there, and everything was about Dominica and St. Lucia helping Dominica and another country helping Dominica. And I'm not saying that it's wrong, but I didn't see anything that said, this is what we are also doing for our people. So I'm angry.
Okay.
And
Anything else?
then I also felt that when I read that everyone at Jungle Bay lost their jobs, even though we left everything, because we left all our clothes, because we were rescued by helicopter, so we had to leave some things. And they even said to us, well, look, do you want to put some things aside and we'll try to get it to you another time? And we said, no, we're going to give everybody everything that we have because they've got nothing. And so we came back with nothing. Nothing. Apart from losing all our equipment, we came back with nothing but the clothes on our back and one or two things that we saved for work purposes, like your makeup, that we could. She left everything. And then it hurt me. I feel guilty because I had some money. I didn't have a lot of money on me because I had credit cards, and I felt that I should have left some of the money for the people.
Right.
I feel bad about that.
Okay, so you realised that, I mean, this was a really shocking account, what I'm hearing.
We learned from that experience, thanks in great part to Cynthia and Bevelyn John. And when we return, we discuss with Cynthia her tips for overcoming feelings such as the trauma and guilt we felt. But we also discovered that many of you are living with so many traumatic experiences that are not being understood and not being supported. By the end of the show, I'd like you to answer this question. Think about the life you want to live and write it down in a few words. See you after the break.